Hey guys, we're back for yet again more He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Legends, welcome back to Coins Age Media. I am Rodney Stewart and this is another review of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Now I want to get into something a little bit off topic before we get into this review. On the channel in the past there has been video blogs of, like drone footage of Northern Ireland. We've had a trip to America and video blogs, and that sort of stuff is going to return very, very soon. The only reason that hasn't been happening is I just haven't had the time to actually get out and do that sort of stuff. But it is going to happen. We've got something planned for the very start of 2020, and that's going to be highly documented on this channel. So if you're into travel vlogs, please hang about here for at least the next 3 months till that happens. I think you'll really enjoy it. But anyway, this episode is Daimar the Demon. On the back of the box it says, a mistake by Orko brings the demon Daimar into his dimension. As He-Man is diverted by the new arrival, Skeletor tries to bend the mighty Daimar to his will for an assault on Grayskull, but Daimar has an agenda of his own, one that could change the whole of Eternia forever. Basically, very simple, straightforward storyline in this. At the beginning, Man-at-Arms is working with the Sorcerer's Book of Magic, and he's been doing equations and discovers that there's a dark dimension that is parallel to Eternia. And yes, while they're working this out, Orko's bored, playing about with magic as usual, and he wants someone to play with. He comes in to Man-at-Arms' workshop and he sees the Book of Magic sitting, and there's this picture of Daimar the Demon, but it's like a little tiny demon. And to put it into perspective for you, think Gremlins. You've got Gizmo. Gizmo gets wet, Gizmo multiplies, another little cute version of a gremlin turns up, but feed it after midnight, it's gonna change into something monstrous. Similar sort of thing here, only there's nothing like, getting it wet or feeding it after midnight sort of thing. Daimar turns up. He's big friends of Orko as the small, cute little demon, but he is destined to transform into a giant, destructive monster at some point. Yes, so they're out playing, and Man-at-Arms discovers that the photograph of Daimar is missing from the book, and he's like, Orko's been up to his magic again, and they start calling for Orko. Orko realises, I'm in trouble, and he runs off with Daimar to try and hide. And yes, He-Man is called upon because there is trouble ahead. Basically, Daimar does change to the giant demon, and reality throughout Eternia is constantly changing because the barrier between dimensions is starting to break down. Everybody's getting affected. The sorceress's power is drained from her. Even Skeletor and Evelyn are getting highly affected by it, and there's a point where she gets hold of the book of spells, and she's going to use that against Skeletor to try and steal his power, which doesn't last very long. Like, he beats her down very quickly, and they head off to Grayskull to see what's happening. Like, they're reading these power surges throughout Eternia. By the end of the episode, where the heroes are at Castle Grayskull, Skeletor is there at Castle Grayskull, and he's trying to bend Daimar to his will, having no luck with that whatsoever. And there was a point in the episode, and I genuinely did think it was going to go this way, that for once He-Man and Skeletor were going to have to join forces to defeat Daimar, but that wasn't the case. There's a stage very close to the end of the episode where Daimar gets the upper hand on everyone, and He-Man is trapped within an energy bubble, and He-Man starts to talk to Daimar, and Daimar's like, it's my destiny to destroy everything, and you know, pretty much this is going to happen whether you like it or not. And He-Man is like, starts talking to his better side. This is a demon from a dark dimension, should be evil through and through, but because he came through as a smaller demon, his friendship with Orko changed him from the start. So whenever he changed into the giant destructive monster by the end of the episode, He-Man and Orko are able to talk to him and convince him that, you know, you can choose your own destiny, you don't have to do this. And you can see it kind of sinking in, and Skeletor and Evelyn make a final attempt to take Daimar down. She traps him within a freeze ray, and they're going to take him back to Snake Mountain to try and work on him, but He-Man beats him down pretty much, along with the help of Daimar by the end of the episode. And he's like, you know, Daimar's like, you're 100% right, you know, I can choose my own destiny, and I choose to be basically a better person at the end of this episode. And he chooses to return to his own dark dimension. And yes, Orko's like, you know, you've made a friend here, along with He-Man. He's like, you know, Daimar's like, I would love to be your friend, sort of thing. It's like, it's very, very loved out at the end of this episode. And yes, that's pretty much where the episode finishes at. Orko says, I was really lucky here, and He-Man says, you are very, very lucky. Today you made a new friend. So the end of the episode in the PSA is He-Man talking about problems, and he says, like, in this episode, Orko ended up with a huge problem that he couldn't handle, and you know, in real life there's no such thing as magic spells and all this sorts of thing. But you know, if you've got problems of something, if you're dealing with something that you can't handle on your own, it's good to always talk to someone, and that is the first step to changing things. So fantastic little PSA at the end of this here. This is something that I think all of us need to hear more and more about, talking about our problems. I have seen it quite a bit recently on Facebook about mental health, and people mentioning that, you know, why do people like rip them to shreds whenever we try to talk about our mental health issues. And it is something that is unbelievably out of control at the minute, all over the planet, but particularly here in Northern Ireland where I'm based. I've seen it quite a bit, and I've even witnessed it myself in a short film that I made a few years ago called Conclusions, which was based upon mental health and suicide awareness, and I got ripped to shreds for that film by that's something that I don't like to talk about normally, but you know, I'm just going to be honest with you here at the end of this episode. But you know, the people that had a huge problem with this film I made were people that really should have been at the top of the list of people that should be helping someone that has mental health issues, and that is Christianity and churches. And I am really dealing with some issues with that sort of thing right now because of that. Conclusions was based upon actual events from my past and stuff I had to deal with it at one stage in my life. And you know, whenever I opened up and put that down on paper, wrote a script of it, made a short film of it, and hoping that it would help and start conversations, I had quite a few Christians coming at me and really ripping me to pieces over it. So this episode of talking about your problems is one that, yes, I feel a lot of people need to be more aware of this sort of thing. And yes, it's a fantastic little episode, and probably not one of the stronger ones in the series, but nonetheless very good, very well written. And yes, the overall story arc in this one was pretty good.